here too long. Just want to get on here right quick, man. Just depression, man. I deal with a lot of depression, and I know anybody that that's a part of this channel or anybody, man, that see this video, man. They it's just that deal with depression. That man, you gotta really elevate yourself. You really gotta get in the mindset of just like, man, I'm gonna make it through. I'm gonna get through it no matter what. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna tell you about. I'm gonna talk about myself, man. Because when I talk about myself, man, I'm talking to y'all. Man, it's hard for me to deal with my depression, and most of the time, my depression deals with just past relationships, past people I done messed with. You know what I'm saying? And just stand up under a lot of negativity, man. Cause when you sit up in a lot of sit up under a lot of negativity, man, that stuff will have you depressed, man. It fucks with your low self-esteem. And how you can tell that your low self-esteem or your depression is messing with you, it's like if you get to the point, man, you just want to give up. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to go to work. You don't want to talk to nobody. You ignoring everybody's phone calls. You afraid of conflict. You know what I'm saying? You just paranoid. You think somebody's after you, or you think somebody is going to do you wrong, or whatever the case might be. And that stuff will hinder you from going to new opportunities, going to having new opportunities, having new friendships, having new relationships, right? So that's why I'm talking about myself, man, because I deal with that a lot, man. I sit there and worry about a lot of things that I shouldn't worry about, and most of it has got something to do with boundaries. A lot of time, man, it has something to do with boundaries. A lot. It has a lot to do with boundaries, and it just shows up. It shows up in your life, man. When you depressed and you really not, you just really just, man, you messing up constantly. Seems like you just messing up constantly over and over and over and over again. It's like you making the same mistakes over and over again. It's because, man, you never you just depressed. You're depressed. Whatever happened to you, you very trauma. You didn't had a lot of trauma. You didn't dealt with a whole lot. You understand what I'm saying? So that would keep you from like really elevating in life. Because a lot of people that don't deal with depression, you know what they do? They don't give a fuck. It's like whatever with them. You understand what I'm saying? It's whatever. They don't really give a fuck. They gonna do whatever it needs to be done for themselves. But people with depression, 9 out of 10, they always worrying about somebody else or what somebody else did to them. And you'll never be able to get to that point. You'll never be able to elevate yourself and really get yourself into a point that you want to see yourself in life. You gotta understand, this is like, man, have you ever heard of a millionaire just committing suicide? You know what I'm saying? It's like he lose all his money and he just suicide. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta understand, like that's crazy. How can a millionaire, a person that has so much money, and commit suicide? Just flat out, just commit suicide. And that's how deep depression really is. That because that person really got to the point they felt like they could not make it. That was life to them. That's all they knew. All they knew was getting money, and they got to the point, man, they lost all that money. They committed suicide. It's the same thing with depression. You know what I'm saying? People with depression, whatever, if they went through anything, any type of trauma, it's because they went through that trauma and they felt like that was it. This is life. This is it. It's like, if you got a family, that's why a person like a man that can have a family, or a woman that can have a family, and then they lose their family, like they just, divorce, or just, a bad breakup, whatever, and motherfuckers commit suicide. They would just go crazy, or they want to kill the kids, or they want to kill their partner, because they couldn't handle their depression, because that was life to them. You understand what I'm saying? That was life. That was the light. That's all they fucking knew. They knew nothing else. So it got to the point that, they didn't have no life for themselves. They had nothing going on for themselves. So whatever that trauma that they went through, that's all they fucking knew, and that was them. And they lost themselves. That's what I'm trying to come up with. They lost themselves in the process. They lost themselves. So when you trying to get all that stuff back, and you trying to go through the process, and you trying to go through the traumas, and you try to go, and I'm telling you because I'm talking about myself. Like when you going through that process, it's like you're going to constantly keep making mistakes, because You're gonna, this is like being in a relationship, you be in a relationship with somebody, a new relationship with somebody, and they don't want to tell you where they at. You know, things will probably start popping in your head like, why the fuck they don't want to know why they not telling me where they at? But that's their business. That's their business. You know what I'm saying? That's their privacy. If they don't want to fucking tell you where they at, then they don't want to tell you where they at. That's not being like they just, it's not like they not being honest with you. It's not like they not being real with you. It's just that's their privacy. Everybody deserves their privacy. So going through depression, you will feel that way. You'll feel that like, dang, this person must be ready to leave me, or dang, this motherfucker must be having sex with somebody else, or this person, like, it's not, they not probably doing it, but you're gonna play in your mind that because of the traumas you've been through, because those patterns that's already been set. And you have to relearn that shit. And that's what's so hard about depression. That's what's so hard about really learning new things about yourself and self-love and self-care. You have to really relearn things. And that shit is hard. That shit is not fucking easy. Because you got to really understand everything that you've been through. Like, you got to understand all that to be able to go through the process, because the process is going to be hard. You're going to want to give up on everything. You're going to give up on relationships. You're going to want to give up on your job. People that don't deal with a lot of depression, or just don't deal with depression at all, they know how to say, okay, that shit happened, I'm going to move on. Or that shit happened, I'm going to move on. Or I'm not going to worry about every fucking thing, like, because I know I have to control myself. Depressed people feel like they can control themselves. They feel like life is just uncontrolled and they have no control over anything. And really, it's just the control over yourself. You just got to have a lot of control for yourself. You have to have that control. You have to have that self security for yourself to say, you know what, things is going to be all right. I'm going to make it through it. It's whatever with me. Fuck it. I'm going to do whatever I got to do. It's not really just fuck it or just saying I don't give a fuck. It's like, man, I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm not going to work. I'm going to elevate myself. I'm going to, you know, go through the adversity. I'm gonna go through whatever I need to go through. I'm gonna bounce back. I might have lost my job today. I might have lost my woman, or I lost my man today, or I lost, you know, whatever, my freedom. It could be that. It could be just going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I know I'm gonna make it out this. This is not the end of me. And a lot of people that start depressed, which are myself, you get to the point that you feel like, damn, if something happens, it's like, damn, this is it. Oh my God, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck I'm gonna do next? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing next after this. And that's not true. It's not true. You just gotta stop. Like they say, the old saying, stop putting all your eggs in one basket, man. You gotta stop doing that. You gotta just don't put your, especially if you're in a relationship, the person that's depressed or anything that deal with depression, or maybe bipolar disorder, or what's the BDP, you know what I'm saying, not BPD, borderline personality disorder. Like, if you dealing with those things, like, you have to have a self-security for yourself. You got to get to a point that, you know what, I'm going to be okay. You got to find ways to be able to cope with things instead of in a negative way, because most of people that deal with depression, they deal with they have a mechanism of just like dealing with things in a negative fucking way. Not everybody, but most. Like, they deal with things in a negative way. Like, if a person say no to them, it's just like the end of the fucking world because the motherfucker said no. Or a motherfucker might talk bad about you, and it's like, damn, everybody talking bad about you, and that's not really, it's not true. It's not true, but that pattern that you been, that trauma that you went through, that whatever you went through, as far as like if it was school or anything, whatever type of trauma that you've been through, it's gonna show that. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, you know, that deal with depression, they'll fight a motherfucker quick. Like, if you fuck with you fuck with their house, you know, fuck with their kids, you fuck with they, you know what I'm saying, they car or materialist or whatever, and motherfucker be ready to fight your motherfucking ass. But when it comes to like dealing with conflict in life, you know what I'm saying, like dealing with bill people, or dealing with people at your jobs, or whatever the case might be, like dealing with conflict on a daily basis, like, they'll run from that shit. Like, they'll like freeze up, you know what I'm saying? Or motherfucker reject them. They'll just like freeze the fuck up about the shit. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but be ready to fight a motherfucker for no fucking reason. Like, that shit be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, be ready to fight a motherfucker in traffic because a motherfucker took their goddamn parking space. You feel me? Be ready to fight a motherfucker. But that's just showing you, like, that's why most depressed people pretend to be tough. Like, I used to have this tough, like, I want to be tough and be bad, and I'm a tough because of the trauma that I went. I went through a lot of trauma, you know, bullying, went through trauma through relationships, been through trauma through dealing with the streets and just dealing with different individuals. Like, trauma, you know, it just manifested in my life, but it showed, like, because I was so trying to be so tough, like, you know, trying to be tough. But I was like, damn, I had to realize myself, like, why the fuck am I trying to be so goddamn tough? You know what I'm saying? That's not a man. That's not how a man carry himself. A man does not carry himself. You know what I'm saying? A man is very kind. A man is very genuine. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm saying the word right. I might be fucking it up. But just, you know, a man is not just no tough guy, just tough all the time, just tough, tough, tough. You know, I just had to realize that had something to do with my depression, man. You know what I'm saying? It was a defense mechanism. You know, I was so defensive, very defensive, very defensive. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people that are very defensive, they deal with depression. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can talk to somebody and you can just feel it like, damn, they just, you know, they real defensive about things, about their life, or real defensive about themselves. You know, it's like they on guard 24/7, which is so fucking exhausting. Like, you can be so exhausted, so tired, because you're so, you into, like, trying to, you know, the world, like the whole fucking world. You're trying to protect yourself from this world. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to protect yourself from the world, but really you need to get an understanding of the world. You know what I'm saying? Not try to have protect yourself from the world, but just an understanding with this, how this world works. And that's the only really real thing that a lot of depressed people have to deal with. They just got to understand what they've been through. You got to understand it, and you got to learn it. But you can't learn anything until you understand it. You feel me? So you have to understand it. And I deal with the praying part, like being depressed and praying and stuff like that. And, you know, praying, just constantly praying. And I want to tell you, just like, praying doesn't work. Prayer doesn't work. You know, I don't care if you praying to Buddha, Allah, you know what I'm saying? Jesus, whoever you praying to, that shit is not going to work until you start having some type of self-love for yourself. You got to have some type of self-love for yourself. All that praying don't mean nothing. You can't do nothing without, you can't pray. You got to do things for yourself. You have to get up and you have to do the necessary work to build your self-esteem back up, because that low it's really bent off that low self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? It's really bent off that low self-esteem, and you have to really build yourself up, man. And you know, and then everything will work out for you. But I just wanted to really talk about that, man. And I want to read this book. Goddamn, are you still going on about the jazz mate? Chill, daddy. I don't know what that is. But look, I'm gonna go I'm gonna read this book. This is called Set Boundaries, Find Peace, A Guide Reclaiming Yourself. I think her name is Nidre Glover Tawwab. But this the book though. Yeah, man. I wanted to talk about people with just depression, and it's a section in here, man. I wanna read. Okay, depression. When I treat depression, I'm treating hopelessness. My work with depressed clients involves empowering them to believe in themselves. When they're able to do that, their lives get better. One of the ways I instill hope is by helping them set simple boundaries. They come up with something small and request that another person iterate to that little request. We start with baby steps. For instance, I will say the next time you go out to eat and your order isn't prepared correctly, make a promise to yourself to ask for it to be corrected. Starting with a less daunting boundary with a stranger may seem trivial, but when people suffer from depression, they often find it hard to advocate for themselves. Advocate for themselves in any situation. When this assignment is exhausted, executed, my clients with depression can see how a request can be honored from there. We start to work on more challenging requests. Example of less harmful boundaries: accepting assistance to your car at the grocery store, correcting people when they say your name wrong, asking for help while shopping instead of trying to find merchandise on your own, asking questions instead of assuming you know the answer. I do that a lot. If you experience depression, it can be helpful to set boundaries about how many things you expect yourself to do in a single day. If you add too much to your to-do list but lack the motivation, you'll set yourself for a failure. I do that a lot. Depression will increase if you take too much without finishing any of the tasks you started. Instead, highlight the small wins, such as showering over the weekend, going to the gym, or going out with friends. Affirmation for people who struggle with depression: little by little, I can keep small promises to myself. Small wins are big wins. Doing one thing is better than doing nothing at all. Okay, this is for DPD, dependent personality disorder. I don't know if anybody got it, but if you do, I'm gonna read it for you. DPD is characterized by the inability to be alone. A person with DPD feels helpless without assistance from another person, leaving no. That's a lot of people deal with it. You motherfuckers that go to the goddamn club all the time and always got to be a part of the scene. This is for you. Room for boundaries in relationship. People with DPD continually seek attention, advice, and comfort from others. Their reliance on others for decision making and constant feedback from damages to the relationships of people with DPD. Borderline personality disorder. This is what I was talking about earlier. People with experienced BPD have unhealthy attachments in their relationships with others. Their relationships are usually unstable because they over personalize their interaction with others, making assumptions and overreacting. Those with BPD often lack boundaries as they find it hard to differentiate where they begin and others end. The separation between them and other people is blurred. Additionally, people struggling with substance use, psychotic disorders, and eating issues are likely to experience problems with boundaries. Let's take a look at how these issues present in relationships with others and others. Mm. Yeah, man, I'm gonna give you that little bit. I might come back and read about what relationships without boundaries look like. I definitely want to read that to y'all, man. But look, man, I ain't gonna be on. I ain't want to be in here too long, man. Just make sure you elevate yourself, man. Elevate yourself, man. If you dealing with any type of depression, any type of negativity in your life, man, elevate yourself, man. You got to stand on that shit, man. No matter what you're going through, no matter what type of mistakes, you not your mistakes, man. You not your mistakes. You not whatever choices, bad decisions that you made in life. You not that, man. And I'm telling you, that's going to help with your depression, man. Start saying no more often. Start saying no more often, and start telling the motherfucker what you need and what you want. And if the motherfucker ain't trying to do that, leave a motherfucker alone. And you stop telling motherfuckers, man, look, if you apologize to somebody and they still on some bullshit after you apologize to them, man, leave them the fuck alone, man. Cause that shit right there will cause a motherfucker to press too. You understand what I'm saying? Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification bell. Love, peace, and power.